Animal Farm, the allegorical novel by George Orwell, 1945, is a fable on farm animals and their behaviors, which are compared to real-world behaviors and people. Within the novel, it is stated that it was written based on the actions and events of people in Russia from the early 20th century.
It depicts animals taking over the farm they live on, owned by a mistreating human for themselves. The animal farm is self-sustaining, but pigs eventually rise to the top with corruption, slaughter, and control. This represents many revolutions, not just the Russian Revolution. An example of such a revolution would be one of the multiple Chinese revolutions, but in particular, the one involving Mao Zedong. During the 20th century, not too soon after the Russian Revolution, China follows with a revolution itself, with its events being highly comparable to those in Animal Farm and other rebellions and revolutions.
Before the Chinese Communist Revolution, China was very similar to pre-rebellion Animal Farm. The Qing dynasty ruled over China just like how Mr. and Mrs. Jones were in China and Manor Farm. In both China and Manor Farm, the animals and working class were unhappy with the rulers. One study showed that 10% of the agricultural population of China possessed as much as 2/3 of the land. In Animal Farm, the animals fought for their freedom and better rations, while in China, the peasants and working class fought for better wages, freedom of association, freedom of speech, and better welfare. The Shanghai Revolution of 1911 to 1912 brought an end to the Qing dynasty and established the Republic of China. This is similar to when the animals chased Mr. and Mrs. Jones off the farm.
Many of the characters in Animal Farm also share similarities with the key players in China. In both civilizations, a group of people holds all the power.
In China, this was the Chinese Communist Party, and in Animal Farm, it is the pigs. The leader of the Chinese Communist Party was Chairman Mao Zedong. Napoleon is the leader of the pigs and is a dictator, like Mao Zedong. The dogs in Animal Farm protect Napoleon and eliminate those who oppose him. Mao Zedong had the Red Guards to do this job for him. Chiang Kai-shek was the leader of the Kuomintang who helped the communists take over China, but was later at war with the communists before being defeated. This is comparable to Snowball being chased off the farm by Napoleon and the dogs. Other groups of people in China that have similarities to groups of animals in Animal Farm are the horses and the working class, the sheep and the peasants. Both groups followed their leaders blindly, and the Qing dynasty and Mr. Jones, who were in power before the Chinese Communist Party and the pigs.
In Animal Farm, propaganda is represented by Squilla. Squilla always talks about how great Napoleon is and how he is responsible for everything good that happens. In China, a newspaper called the People's Daily influenced people into believing that Mao Zedong was the greatest thing to ever happen. Propaganda was also used in the form of little red books. These books contain quotes from Mao Zedong and were used to further promote him.
One of the most similar events is the Shanghai Revolution and the Animal Rebellion. In the Shanghai Revolution, the Communist Party and the Kuomintang brought an end to the Qing dynasty. In the Animal Rebellion, the animals chased Mr. and Mr. Jones off the farm. Another similar event is when Mao Zedong ordered the Red Army to take control of China and defeat the Kuomintang, just like when Napoleon orders the dogs to chase Snowball out of the farm.
The Great Leap Forward was a push by Mao Zedong to change China from an agricultural society to an industrial one. The construction of the windmill is a comparable event to this. Both events failed many times and both required extreme labour from the working class. The Great Leap Forward led to the deaths of many people, and the construction of the windmill made Boxer work so hard that he almost died because of it. Just like this sculpture, post-rebellion Animal Farm reflects China today. In China, the Communist Party holds all the power, just like how the pigs rule over everyone in post-rebellion Animal Farm. China is also more friendly with other countries, just like how Manor Farm is more friendly with other farms. In both China and post-rebellion Animal Farm, the animals and people don't get what they want to before the rebellion. The animals still don't get good rations and as much freedom as they would like. And in China, they don't get as much freedom either and have restrictions on the internet.
Through these key ideas and themes presented within both the Chinese Communist Revolution in the 20th century and Animal Farm, which depicts communist nations and rebellions in them, many features and similarities have been described to be very comparable and almost identical. This fact has shown that Orwell has been able to observe many rebellions and find common themes among them. starting with the overthrow of current ruling, followed by a system being established, to corruption of leaders of the rebellion, and so on. Orwell has done this to provide a satirical and allegorical description of the predictable events of rebellions, indicating the problems with starting such an uprising and how it will eventually turn out.